Irony here, welcome to Krazee Adventures. Today we'll be heading out to Cathedral Falls near Gauley Bridge, West Virginia, with a stop at Kanawha Falls and a fun roadside waterfall along the Midland Trail. Join us to see where the road leads us. We drove along US Route 60, or the Midland Trail National Scenic Byway, which is a gloriously scenic, curvy road through West Virginia that runs approximately 178 miles from Kentucky to Virginia.
Water in a tumbler, dashboard full of light, rolling through the mountains like everything feels right. Windows down and wild hair in my face, laughing at nothing in the middle of this place. Didn't make a plan, didn't check the time, just chasing every curve on the painted line. Every mile's a postcard I didn't expect. Every turn's a moment I don't wanna forget. We ain't in a hurry, we ain't looking back. Just a full tank riding on a two-lane track. Got that sunshine on the Midland Byway, golden in the way it flows. From the rivers wide to the hills so green, living out a daydream scene. Pull off anywhere it feels right, stay a minute in the daylight. Yeah, the world feels small in the best kind of way, on a Midland Drive kind of day.
Our first stop is Cathedral Falls, located near the town of Gauley Bridge. The parking area has room for about 8 vehicles. There are no restrooms, but there are a few picnic tables. The falls are incredibly easy to access and are visible from the road, with fantastic views from the parking area as well as the wooden bridge. Walk a short distance from the parking area, cross a wooden bridge to a packed dirt path to the base of the falls. Use caution. The path becomes narrow with a few rocks to scramble over and can be slippery if wet. The tiered waterfall is formed as the Cane Branch Creek tumbles along sandstone and shale, falling 60 feet into a shallow pool at the bottom. The fantastic rock walls give it a cathedral-like atmosphere. The water continues to the New River about 40 yards away. The parking area is small and the falls attract a large number of people as it is listed as a destination on the West Virginia Waterfall Trail.
Pulled off slow where the blacktop bends, a car lot and a line of friends. Windows down, hear that river call. First glimpse from the parking lot, there it was, tall. No welcome sign, no neon lights, just mountain air and shale rock heights. Picnic table, a well-worn trail, and a whisper in the wind like an old folk tale. Step by step across that bridge, Wood Creek soft at the mountain's edge. Oh, Cathedral Falls, sing your song, 60 feet where the wild runs strong, through sandstone bones and a sky so wide, like a hymn in the hills where the spirits hide. You don't need a road, don't need a sign, just follow that sound and you'll be just fine. Yeah, the whole damn world feels small, standing in the shadow of Cathedral Falls.
We continued on the Midland Trail through the town of Gauley Bridge, which is located in Fayette County. It has a total area of 1.63 square miles. It is at an elevation of 810 feet. The population was 553 in 2020. The zip code is 25085, and the area code is 304. I found this area legend online. Quote, "The Legend of Kanawha Falls and Her Daughters." Long before the trails were cut by iron axes or the rivers were scarred by men's boats, the Kanawha Valley was a place of deep and secret voices. The rivers did not flow as they do now, and the cliffs and gorges were still learning their shapes. In those days, the people of the Shawnee say, water was not only water, it was spirit, and each stream or fall was a living woman with a mind and a will. The greatest of these was Kanawha Mother, whose real name in the old tongue has been lost, though the elders say it meant she who sings to the stones. She was tall as a pine and strong as the spring floods, and her hair was black and endless like the river at night. She lived in a wide, slow pool where the river bent, and from her breast poured the water that fed all the streams of the valley. Kanawha Mother was not a human woman, but a water spirit, half flesh, half current, yet she loved the people of the valley. She would rise from the water in the evening, her hair streaming silver in the moonlight, to speak to the young hunters or bring fish close to the spears of the women. She was kind, but she was also fierce, for she guarded the valley against those who would harm it. Kanawha Mother had 8 daughters, each born from her in a different season, each gifted with beauty and a voice of her own. When they were small, they played in the shallows and laughed among the reeds, but as they grew, Kanawha Mother sent them out to live in the cliffs and high streams so they could watch over all the corners of the valley. The daughters were as follows. Little Foxwater, quick and playful, whose fall was small but bright, leaping down a stair of rocks and silver steps. Mist in the Sycamore, shy and dreamy, whose veil of spray drifted into the forest so that sycamore leaves glistened even on dry days. White Plume, straight and proud, poured herself in one clean drop from the cliff. Shadow Veil, who hid behind mossy stones and only revealed her shining face to those who came close. Laughing Spray, whose tumbling waters sounded like a girl's laughter echoing through the gorge. 2 sisters, twins who fell side by side, so alike they could not be told apart except by those who had watched them since birth. River Bride, who descended gently as though dancing to meet the main river below. And the youngest and most beautiful, Tall Song, the tallest fall in all the region, whose white water plunged down the high stone face. Her voice was a hymn to the sky, and her spray shone like a crown when the sun struck her. The Shawnee say Tall Song was so beautiful because Kanawha Mother had carried her longer than the others, keeping her close as she grew. And though Tall Song loved her mother, she often looked toward the far ridges, yearning for the wide world beyond. For a time, the valley was peaceful. The daughters guarded the lands and warned of approaching storms or enemies. But one summer, a drought fell upon the region. The streams thinned to threads, and the fish hid in the deep holes. Even the great Kanawha Mother felt her strength weakening. It was then that a stranger came, a man of fire, not of water. The people remember him only as Red Eye, for his eyes burned like coals. He was a spirit from beyond the mountains, where the earth is dry and cracked, and he envied the beauty of the Kanawha Valley. Red Eye told Kanawha Mother he wished to take one of her daughters as his wife and carry her back to his land. Kanawha Mother refused. She said her daughters belonged to the valley, as the rain belongs to the clouds. But Red Eye's desires only grew. He wandered among the cliffs, watching each daughter in turn, until his gaze fixed upon Tall Song. Her long, bright fall, her proud face, her song that filled the air, these stirred his heart like nothing he had ever known. One night, under a sky without stars, Red Eye came to Tall Song's pool. He spoke in soft words, promising her lands beyond the ridges, where the sun rose red and skies never knew cold. Tall Song listened, for she was young and curious, but she said she could not leave her mother. Red Eye's temper flared. He reached into the pool and tried to bind her with cords of smoke and heat to carry her away. But Kanawha Mother felt the struggle and came surging from her own wide falls, the river roaring in her voice. The battle shook the valley. Water crashed against fire, steam shrouded the cliffs, and lightning tore across the sky. The daughters joined their mother, each pouring her full strength into the fight. Mist in the sycamore cloaked the enemy in fog. White Plume struck like a spear. Laughing Spray shouted defiance, and Tall Song's voice rose above them like a bell. At last, Kanawha Mother wrapped herself around Red Eye, sweeping him down the valley. She struck him against the rocks again and again until his fire dimmed into embers, and then she cast him far away, into the western hills where no river runs. But the battle had cost the water spirits dearly. In her fury, Kanawha Mother had flung herself over a wide ledge of stone, and there she remained, her body becoming the broad Kanawha Falls we see today. She still sings to her daughters, but she cannot walk the valley as she once did. The daughters, too, were changed, their pools and channels fixed into the cliffs so they could never leave the places they had defended. Tall Song found herself set high above the valley floor, her waters dropping farther than any of her sisters. She wept for her mother, and her tears made her fall even greater. The people say that on certain mornings when the sun strikes Cathedral Falls just so, you can see the silver form of a young woman leaning from the cliff, her hair trailing in the wind. The Shawnee who traveled through the valley in later years told this story to the white settlers they met. They said the 8 daughters still watch over the valley, and that Kanawha Mother herself guards the river against any spirit or man who would take what is not theirs. Tourists who come now to see Kanawha Falls and her daughters do not always hear the story, but the water voices are still there for those who listen. And some say, when the river is high and the mist is thick, you can hear Kanawha Mother calling her daughters by their old names, and their answering songs tumbling down the stone walls of their valley. This is why the falls of the Kanawha Valley are not merely water, but a family, a mother and 8 daughters, bound forever to their home by love, sacrifice, and the memory of a night when fire tried to steal water and water stood her ground. End quote. Found on the West Virginia Explorer webzine site by David Sibray. Our next stop is Kanawha Falls in Glen Ferris, West Virginia. Pronounced Kanawha and sometimes Kanawha, the name is from the Iroquois dialect and means waterway or canoeway. I'll be using Kanawha. The scenic diagonal sandstone ledge across the width of the Kanawha River forms the approximately 15-foot high waterfall. A low concrete overflow dam was built in 1920 along the crest of the falls. It diverts part of the flow of water to an electric generating plant on the bank of the river. The plant was built in 1899 and produced electricity for over 100 years. It closed in 2003 and was refurbished beginning in 2010 and fully returned to operation in 2012. The waterfall has served as a natural barrier to fish movement for over 1 million years. It is the upstream limit of several fish species that broadly inhabit the Ohio River watershed. Above the waterfall, the watershed has fewer fish species overall. The waterfall also divides the flatwater barge navigation industry downstream from the recreational whitewater rafting industry upstream. The waterfall is located nearly 1 mile downstream from the confluence of the New and Gauley rivers. It has a public access area with a boat launch, a fishing dock, and scenic views of the falls. The gravel parking lot has room for about 35 vehicles. The waterfall is also a stop on the West Virginia Tourism Statewide Waterfall Trail. Glen Ferris is a census-designated place on the western bank of the Kanawha River in Fayette County, West Virginia. It has a total area of 1.626 square miles, and the population was 174 in 2020. Our final stop was a roadside waterfall further along Route 60. Google Maps indicates that it is called Roadside Little Waterfall. We spotted the falls as we drove by and turned around to check it out. We found a nice little pull-off area with room for several vehicles. The falls are about 18 feet high and drop into a very small pool at the bottom. The fall appeared to be more of a springtime or heavy rain dependent roadside stop. This area is a great destination if you enjoy waterfalls. Be sure to add it to your list.
Route 60 just killing time. Windows down that double line. Didn't have a plan, didn't have a map. Just letting the miles fade to black. Then you said, wait, did you see that drop? I laughed it off, but I hit that stop. Turn that wheel like a second chance. Dust kicked up in a roadside dance. Wasn't on the list, wasn't in the guide, but something in me said don't just drive by. So we turned around for the waterfall. Just a little thing, not much at all. 18 feet and a trickle down into a quiet hidden ground. A blink and you miss it kind of place.
Let us know where you think we should explore next. Be sure to check the video description for the addresses of our stops today so you can plan a future adventure yourself. Can't wait to see where the road takes us next.